Yo, welcome back to another recap. This is day 5 of the challenge 100k to 200k paper trading. Today I took no trades. Why? Because today is FOMC at 2, which I had a lot of experience when there's FOMC. The New York market open is not it it tends to consolidate a lot of the times, but yeah, like today there was a possibility to win a trade, but most of the times it's better off to just don't trade, which is what I did today. Took no trades, but we can go over what market did when it opened. Let's see, there was also news at 8:30. PPI 8:30. As you can see, massive move at 8:30. Massive move, which created a fair value gap, as you guys can see, which also created a fair value gap on Nasdaq. So we also have this fair value gap on the 4 hour, which we actually inversed it. Well, 2 hours and 20 minutes to inverse it. But yeah, let's do this better. Yeah, on S&P 500 we inverted, but on Nasdaq we didn't. Let's see. Anyways, on the 30-minute, as you guys can see, we actually didn't inverse this fair value gap. Also on the 15-minute, so that is our manipulation. If we would have inversed this fair value gap, we would have been bullish, but we didn't, so we're bearish. And which one is the leading index? S&P 500. Why? Because it's lower than Nasdaq, which is more bearish than the Nasdaq. So this is our manipulation, a respect of a fair value gap on the 15-minute. Let's go down to the 5-minute. We just simply, again, consolidated a lot from market open to like 30 minutes. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, for like 30 minutes we consolidate. Which is fine. 30, 35 we consolidate. But again, since in the 15-minute, I think this is a retracement. No. Anyways, so we inverse this fair value gap on the 5-minute, but we didn't on Nasdaq, which obviously, we inversed it on Nasdaq, but we didn't inverse it on the S&P, which if we would have liked to take longs, honestly, I would have waited for S&P to inverse this fair value gap, which it didn't. So I will honestly just look for for equilibrium. As you guys can see, we're gonna be, where is it? There we go. Okay, we are looking for equilibrium because remember we inversed this fair value gap, but we didn't on the Nasdaq. We inversed it on Nasdaq. We didn't inverse it on the S&P, which we are still bearish. For me, for my analysis, market analysis, let's go down to the 1 minute. And honestly, I would have not traded this. Why? Because we are also, I would have noticed that honestly we are in a consolidation. So you guys can see we are in a consolidation. So honestly, I would have just waited for an inverse of a fair value gap or some type of retracement. Yeah. Hold on, let me fix this equilibrium. There we go. There we go. And honestly, even though the S&P 500 would is the leading index, I would honestly trade it on the Nasdaq. Why? For the simple fact that it's a bit more clear, more clear, more clear. Definitely, we filled equilibrium. We filled equilibrium. We didn't break. We didn't. There was no confirmation. Only we filled equilibrium, but on the Nasdaq we filled equilibrium and resist fair value gap, which I honestly would have traded right there. Stop loss above this high, which I honestly would have lost, and try to aim for this. Honestly, I would have lost today, but fortunately, didn't take no trades. But yeah, I honestly would have lost today, which thankfully I didn't trade. But if we actually took it on the S&P 500, which is the leading index, we would have fair equilibrium, um, close beneath this 1 minute low, both of the 1 minute lows. But honestly, I would have wanted on like an inverse fair value gap or another confluences, but because this wouldn't be enough for me, would have come up again. Creating a fair value gap. You guys can see inverse fair value gap and would have entered around here. Stop loss above there. Try to aim for this lows, this low resistance liquidity at the bottom. There we go. So yeah, honestly, this would be the ideal trade again. I honestly since this is the leading index, I will probably hesitate on this one. But yeah, I would honestly keep that in mind, but honestly, I would have lost today. But um, yeah, I would. Here's the thing, is because I don't know if I would have taken the trade on Nasdaq or S&P, because the S&P, even though the Nasdaq gave us a nice confirmation to go to the downside, the S&P is the leading index. So I think I would have honestly waited, especially because we're consolidating. But yeah, this would have been the trade that I would have honestly took. Yeah, as you guys can see today, it was choppy the first 30 minutes. There was an opportunity, but usually it only consolidates. Um, so yeah, I rather just stay the out of the markets these days to evade losses, unnecessary losses. So yeah, that's it for today. No trades for me. Only the recap. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on day 6, which is tomorrow. Yeah, see you on day 6.